services become more and more connected. So hopefully today we will give you a greater understanding of the tools and workflows that you may have currently available to, or you may be looking to invest in. So in part one, we're just going to get a greater understanding of these tools. We're going to look at Fusion 360 and AnyCAD capabilities, and we're also going to look into connecting Inventor to the cloud, and I'll let Ray do a little bit of vault then at the end. Right, so for those of you who are currently not PDMC customers, so PDMC stands for Product Design and Manufacturing Collection. So these are the products that are currently available in the collection. So in part one, we're going to focus on Inventor, Fusion 360, Fusion Team, and Vault. So cloud technology first. Cloud technology. What's available to you currently? So A360 Drive, cloud storage, as part of any Autodesk subscription, 25 gigabytes of cloud storage, which is entitled to a single user. This drive, as I said, is just for individual use. There's over 60 file type supporters, as well as third-party files. And you also have access to a desktop connector, which will allow you to save directly into the cloud from your desktop. So next on the list then would be Fusion Team, available as part of a Fusion 360 subscription, PDMC subscription, or can even be purchased as a separate subscription. So this entitles you to 500 gigabytes of storage per user subscription. This is a lot more than A360 Drive. But it also gives you greater control over projects and user entitlements, as well as collaborative tools like versioning, markups, and comments. Okay. So this is a nice slide, I feel, on just the capabilities of Fusion Team. So you basically are working all in one place with team members or customers. You can interact with models, doing section views, exploded views, view properties, comment on different aspects of the models. Well, all that is kept in one connected space. So what are the primary differences between Autodesk Drive or A360 Drive and Fusion Team? So as I was mentioning, the main differences really are you get greater storage with Fusion Team, the greater control over the projects and users, and the collaborative capabilities like the versioning, markups, and comments. While Autodesk Drive, you can create unique links which you can send to customers, which allows them to open up in the Autodesk viewer, which is available on any browser as well. So I guess the most notable difference then is one that I've highlighted down here in bold, is it enables Fusion and Inventor AnyCAD. So just for anybody who doesn't know what AnyCAD, we'll be going through that just in a few moments. But that is just the primary difference. So I guess finally then we also have shared views. So shared views will allow you to create a unique link of your model or your assembly, which you can then email to customers or people in your team. And again, they can open that up in any web browser. They also have the collaborative features like the markups, exploded views, and comments. And all these comments relate back to the original creator of that assembly or that part via email or in their chosen software. So you can see the supported softwares in the list here. So Inventor, Vault, AutoCAD. I won't name them all out, but you can see them there. Okay. So just if you're looking on how to get access to these shared views, get in contact with your contract manager, and they can assign the service of shared views to your Autodesk account. Now I've been using this shared views with a few of my customers as well, and I find it an invaluable tool in the process of building up an assembly and getting feedback. But it's all connected and we're not going through email, and the emails aren't getting lost, and it all just keeps it in one nice tidy space here. Yeah, so it's great for traceability. Okay, so AnyCAD and Fusion. So these are two terms that some people might not actually know about so far. Or you might be not familiar with them, but in my opinion, they're going to become very valuable tools for anyone who's looking to get into collaborating more with customers and even colleagues within your own team. So what is AnyCAD? So AnyCAD is the core functionality within Inventor and Fusion 360. So typically before, when a user was importing a CAD file from a different CAD vendor, like say we'll just use SolidWorks for this case, Inventor would then translate that CAD data into an Inventor part or assembly. So what AnyCAD actually does is it creates an associative link between the original CAD data, so the original SolidWorks data, and the new CAD data in Inventor. So basically the benefits to this are numerous. It means, as I mentioned, greater collaboration between teams and colleagues who might be using different CAD softwares. So you could have an Inventor user, you could have a SolidWorks user, Pro engineer, exactly. Yeah. It cuts down on rework. We're not sending files back and forth over email. So there are numerous benefits really to this so far. So who is it for? Anybody who has a PDMC subscription. Also available in Product Design Suite. Fusion 360 subscribers, and anyone with access to Fusion Team. So like I mentioned before, anybody who has access to Fusion Team through either Fusion 360 or a separate subscription or PDMC. Then who's it not for? Inventor Pro standalone and customers on maintenance or non-subscription customers. So you really need to look into PDMC, I think, if you're going forward with any collaboration. Okay, so the second thing then, Fusion 360. So Fusion 360 is Autodesk cloud-based modeling tool. It's integrated CAD, CAM, and CAE all in the one workspace. Fusion 360 utilizes the power of the cloud as opposed to running some processor-heavy operations on your own machine. So some of the processes that actually push this up to the cloud would include rendering, simulations. So what this means really is that it's freeing up your machine so you can continue to work on modeling while the cloud does all the work on solving your simulations and your renders. So it's a great tool if you want to keep working on your model and not have your machine redundant for the next couple of hours trying to solve a simulation. Okay, so the Inventor or Fusion? It's a question we're kind of getting a lot lately. I wouldn't go for Inventor or Fusion. I think it's great to use a collaboration of both together. Like they both have their strengths. So as you can see here, some of these strengths are listed. Like Inventor is better for your large assembly design. frame generator, exporting bill of materials, BIM content creation, design automation through iLogic, and also factory design layouts. While Fusion, its strengths lie in conceptual design, reverse engineering using mesh bodies, as I mentioned, the cloud simulations and renderings, ECAD through Eagle for your PCB creation, push button manufacturing, and generative design, which we will actually be looking at in part 3 of this webinar series. Okay, so Inventor and Fusion 360 AnyCAD. So this slide really just depicts the file types that are currently available for AnyCAD through Fusion team. So you can see you've got AutoCAD, Inventor, CATIA, SolidWorks, Alias, Pro Engineer, your typical step files, NX. Now you notice I've just put an asterisk next to Solid Edge and P2Z Creo because currently you are only able to support the parts and not assemblies, but as you can see, it's on the roadmap. Okay, so this takes us to our first workflow. So a lot of our customers have AutoCAD data, which they may have built up over years, and they're thinking of moving to Inventor. So basically what we want is for them to be able to use this AutoCAD data in the future, or not let it go to waste after years and years. So basically our workflow here is we're going to take an AutoCAD DWG into Inventor through Fusion Team. So by importing the AutoCAD DWG through AnyCAD, we can create a link between the drawing and our 3D part. So if there are any updates made to that original DWG, the 3D part will then update. So I think this is a really great workflow, to be honest, but which we're hoping that a lot of our customers are going to now take up. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to escape out of my PowerPoint here and go up to my Fusion Team folder. Okay, so I'm just going to choose the upload button here, and I'm going to choose the file that I want to upload. I'm going to select my AutoCAD drawing, and I'm going to upload that. So you can see on a good web connection that drawing uploaded very quickly. Now I'm going to move into Inventor. I'm going to start a new file. So I'm just going to create a standard part. I'm going to save my part first. So I'm going to make sure that I'm saving it into my Fusion 360 drive. So I'm just going to find the folder that I'm working on. And I'm just going to call this AutoCAD to Inventor. I'm going to save that. And you notice up here that I have this little cloud symbol next to my part now. So this is now a cloud file. So now I'm going to import my AutoCAD drawing from Fusion Team. So again, I'm looking at the Fusion 360. So this is my desktop connector between my desktop and Fusion Team. So going to Fusion Team, into ProCAD, into our design collaboration webinar, and I'm going to select my AutoCAD drawing. I'm going to click open, and I'm just going to select a plane and a point and drop my AutoCAD drawing in. So now I've inserted my AutoCAD drawing. I'm going to create a new sketch. Start a new sketch. I'm going to choose the same plane, and I'm going to choose the option up here to project DWG geometry. So this is going to allow me to use that AutoCAD geometry from the DWG. So I'm just going to do a box select around this. I'm going to finish my sketch. So now you can see it's highlighted really in green here. So now I can use this to create features. So say I might want to create an extrude. I'm going to select my profiles. So first profile here. Second profile here. And now what I'm going to do, instead of just giving a measurement or an extent here or a distance, I'm actually going to measure off the section view over here. So I can choose from this point here to this point here. I'm just going to choose a midplane, and you can see it's referencing that part of the drawing. So I'm going to click OK to that. Now I'm going to share my sketch again, so I can use it for my next extrude. So again, I'm going to click my profile, and again I'm going to choose the measure option. So this time I want to just go between here and here. Again, I'm just going to choose the mid-plane option. So you can see our parts now coming together. So last profile then, I want to get this inside part, and just going to use the measure again to reference. Because I have the drawing there, might as well reference it. So I'm going to go between here and here, and you can see that if I just rotate my part around, we just need to add in another section. So I'm going to choose the asymmetric option and add in another distance. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to finish my part. You can see, and I'm going to save. So that save is going to push this file up into Fusion Team again. So what I'm going to do now is pass over to Ray, and he'll be able to review the part in Fusion Team. So I'm just going to share my screen with Ray.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue on from where Dara left off. Again, we're looking at the Fusion Team environment in here. So I'm just going to navigate back out, and you can see within the Fusion Team environment, Dara's uploaded data. So just to kind of cover what Fusion Team really is, and Dara highlights in the PowerPoint, Fusion Team is basically a central area where we can have a number of different projects based within our Fusion Team environment, and we can upload data to that. In addition to this, you can see here that we have a number of project members, and in this case it's just myself and Dara today, but this could be quite extensive, and you can add as many users as you want, and also thirdly, you can also add on what user rights they have to this particular project as well. We're big fans of Fusion Team, and the reason why we're big fans of Fusion Team is because there is full traceability on how wood files are uploaded and by whom. Even the file type is listed here as well, and the file size, and when it was uploaded. I can view the activity at any stage of that particular file, and you can see Dara uploaded a file just over 2 minutes ago. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to navigate to Dara's file. You can see directly that I've got the information in here. I've even got, the good thing about Fusion Team, you can even give the design references here, which is the AutoCAD file you use to generate that particular part. If I click on the particular part, what Fusion Team actually does is it produces a viewable of the file. In this case, you can see that I've got a file listed here. I can review the file. You can see I can rotate the file, navigate the file. It even bring in its own materials. As Dara forgot to put a material on the part, but we forgive him for that. In this case, though, what it does allow us to do is navigate the part, mark up the part, inspect the part. We can even start dimensioning the part if we so wish. So we can dimension from length from face to face, that type of stuff, and I'll give you the X, Y, and Z coordinates. But the big thing I find about Fusion Team is the fact that I've got all the relevant information over here. If it's a sub-assembly, which you'll see later on in the presentation, you can see a full list of how that assembly is made up and what components make it up and the position of those components, and more importantly, the hierarchy of those components within the assembly environment. In this case, though, however, I just want to relay back a change to Dara. So how I would do that is very quickly we go into the comments section here, and I would navigate the model to the area that I want to suggest a change or an edit. So in this case, I would use the markup tools or the comment tools that are available to me. So in this case, I would go to a comment tool here. I would comment on a particular point within the object. I grab the point where I want it to be. So again, excuse me, I'll just pick that again. There we go. And I pick the comment where I want it to be. It will localize the area where I want it to be, where I want to signify the change. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to request that Dara increases the board diameter, excuse the spelling, by 3. And what I can do when I am posting this, remember this is a team collaborative tool. There'll be a number of members in the team. If I want to say signify this change to go to a particular person in the team, I can do that very easily by using the @ symbol and specifying from the drop down the team members are available at that particular project. So in this case, I'm going to indicate that to Dara. I'm going to post that up, and Dara will now should receive communication to the fact that the requests that I've made and the message how she's going to do that. So again, in this case, I'm going to pass over to Dara to continue on this. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So in this case, very quickly, I'm going to change Dara back to, I think you're this one.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Right, so just while Ray was working on that part and he tagged me in the comments, I received an email, so I'm just going to drag that into my design collab folder. So I can see that I got the email notification that Ray has made an update to, or a comment on that part. So he says increase bore diameter by 3 millimeters. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go into AutoCAD, because I can edit that AutoCAD drawing. I'm going to open the drawing. I'm going to go browse to my Fusion, again my Fusion 360 folder, and find that AutoCAD drawing and open it up. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the what part Ray wants me to actually change again. So just make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So I can see the comments over there on the side. Sorry. So I can take a look at that. So increase bore diameter by 3 millimeters. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just grab this, delete that constraint there, and just drag this out and enter 3. Okay. So that's increased the bore diameter. I'm going to save the drawing, which is again pushing it back up to Fusion Team, and then I'm going to go back into Inventor. So you can see now in Inventor, I have this local update icon highlighted on my toolbar, as well as the drawing over here, the AutoCAD drawing. So it says this cloud file is out of date and needs to be updated. So what I can do is just hit the local update button. That cloud file has now been updated, and you can see my part is now also updated as a result. So I could then go back to Ray and say, changes have been made, please review, and tag him if need be. So that is really part 1 of our workflow complete.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going back into my PowerPoint here again. So a very quick workflow there, which shows the capabilities of AnyCAD, Fusion Team, and working between AutoCAD and Inventor. So like I was saying, that AutoCAD data is still usable even if you move to 3D design software like Inventor. Okay. Right, so our next workflow then is we're going to be working between Inventor, Fusion, and Fusion Team. Well, in this case, we're actually going to be using imported data from SolidWorks. So again, because we're using AnyCAD, this SolidWorks data is still connected to the original creator, and it's still usable as well, which is the main thing, that we can actually make changes to it. Okay, so I'm just going to pass it back over to Ray now again.
So again, what I'm going to do is just going to go back just to recap on what Dara has done there just very quickly in this part. One thing that we might have jumped ahead of ourselves is that the Fusion team is actually also managed through the version control. So you can see here that we have version 1. If I click on the version 1 of that part just to confirm, so this is a very good kind of iteration of what we did within Fusion Team. You can see the preview of version 1, and you can also do a live compare. So again, you can do a live compare between the two. So again, if I go back into version 2, you can see that I've got the comment information, I've got the update here, and everything has been done. Now if we take this is very much on a singular part with AutoCAD and so forth like that. We now want to do this in a bigger scale project where we are working with an assembly. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate back here again, and this is the file tree that we work with. So if I go back in here and I go into Inventor in this case, I've got an Inventor assembly opened up. So what I'm doing here is you can see that we can have a nice mixture of assembly, it's native Inventor data, design data, as you can see broken up here. And then we can also have a mix of reference data. So again, Dara mentioned about using files such as our third-party files like SolidWorks, Pro Engineer, Unigraphics, or third-party CAD files. So we all recognize that in today's design world that it's basically a universal CAD platform. People will need to collaborate between different platforms. So we need to collaborate and reference CAD information from other vendors. We also may have the requirement to update that information from a vendor as well if the vendor is not available to do that update for us. So in this case, you can see here that I've got, like, as Dara pointed out in his previous model, there's a kind of a cloud symbol beside the part I'm working here. So you can see the difference very quickly, what's referenced and what's not. So this part here is the one I'm looking at. And again, navigating the model, I want to kind of, again, maybe make some design edits, changes, and I want to go through the workflow how I'd relate that back to Dara or to a third-party vendor for that matter. So what I would do really is I can again look at the file, I can go back into my Fusion environment, so again up here, and I can specify that I want to work with this particular housing. So if I click on this particular housing, this is where it originated from. So what I did was in the initial design, I actually placed it from Fusion Team into my assembly environment. So I've created that link. I've created that link between Inventor and Fusion by just doing that very thing. In this case, what I can do is I can zoom into particular areas of the model. Again, using the comment commands that I pointed out earlier on. For example, I want to highlight a particular area. I want to pick that particular area. And again, I want to remove embossed text. So I'm not just tied to remove embossed text. I'm not just tied to kind of just marking comments up, right? But what I also can do is, for example, I can start again by using the drafting tools or the markup tools directly built into Fusion Team, for example, to reference something like this. So again, I can do something if I navigate here, just bear with me for a second. Just navigate to that for a second and rotate around because I'd like a better view of it. So in this case, I use the markup tools. Again, what I'll do is I'll specify what markup tool I want to use, how I want to use. So in this case, I want to use a cloud. There we go. I also want to put a note in there. So again, I can specify text note. And in this case, what I want to do is I want to indicate that I want just only one web at the rear of this particular part. So again, I can say remove one web and center the other. Okay. So with that, I can save, and just kind of give you a feel for this. If you can see over here in the comment field, you can see that I'm getting a lot of information here. You can see I'm building up kind of an audit trail of the changes that I want to make and to communicate as well. So again, using the native navigation tools within Fusion Team, I'm going to navigate to the underside of the body here now. I want to look at this particular section. And really what I want to do is I want to illustrate that I want this lengthened back, and I want the width to be changed as well. I want to strengthen up the part at the front. So again, with the markup tools available to me, what I can do is indicate, number one, I can use arrows to indicate that I want to kind of stretch this back. Again, I want to be able to come along here and I want to be able to stretch this back out like this. So again, then what I can do is I can come along here, use text. Okay, so I can say increase width and also length. Excuse the spelling. I can never spell in a live presentation. I don't know why I tasked myself to do this, so I do apologize. So also length and by 10. With that in mind, what I can now do is I can come along here and I can specify another cloud and just mark that all the way around so it's pretty clear on what needs to be done. So once I have that done, I can save that markup, again completing the comment history here. And what I can then do is I can come along here and I can specify again to Dara directly, please review all design change. and tag Dara directly. Okay, so I'm going to post that, and Dara, I'm going to leave it over to you.
Okay.
I just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to change it back to presenter.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, you can just see down here at the bottom of my screen, I'm after getting an email notification from Ray, and you can see our ProCAD MFG. That's our name of our Fusion team. So I'm just going to go into my emails and take a look at that email that's come through from Ray. So the first one that came through was the embossed text. So remove embossed text, and he tagged me again. So he really wants me to get it done. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go into Fusion 360. So as we said, in this case, I'm acting as a third-party contractor. I've imported this SolidWorks file into Fusion Team. You can see there's no design history associated with this file because it is a SolidWorks file. But that doesn't mean that we can't use this file or make changes to it. So as Ray was saying, if I expand this comment section down here and just do a quick refresh, I can also take a look at the comments that were made. So remove embossed text, and if I hit this little chain link symbol here, it'll actually take me into that section that he's referring to in the comments. So I can see I need to remove that BT Industries emboss. So what I'm actually just going to do is just highlight the emboss, so you can see all the faces that are highlighted there, and I'm actually just going to hit delete on my keyboard. So you can see as quick as that, Fusion has removed the emboss and it's actually healed back the surface as well, which is great. So next thing Ray wants me to do then, we're just going to take a look again. If I click on the link, it'll take me to that section. If I click on the thumbnail of the snapshot, you can zoom in. Please remove one web and center the other. Okay, so again, just by highlighting the faces, so I'm just going to control click all of these faces here, just rotate my model around, and again I'm just going to hit delete on the keyboard. So you can see again Fusion has just removed those faces and it's also just healed back the surface. And again I'm building up my timeline down here of the operations that I'm doing in Fusion. So now I need to center that remaining web. So usually what would have needed to be done was we'd probably have to just remove the other web, create a new sketch, do an extrude and add in the fillets. But in this case I can actually just highlight the two faces, right click and choose the move copy. Now I'm going to choose a point to pivot around. So I'm going to select my pivot, which is going to be this circular reference here. And then by using this manipulator here, I'm able to just drag that along and recenter my web. Now again, like I said, we've done all this without having to create any new sketches or any new features, which is extremely valuable when you're under time constraints like Ray has me here. Sorry, Dara. Right, so the next thing I'm just going to do is actually, I just noticed that these fillet is a little messy around here. So again, I'm just going to highlight them and hit delete. And again, it's just healed back. So continuing through the comments, I'm just going to click on the link again. So I know that we're working on this section here. And I'm going to take a look at the snapshot. So increase the width and also length by 10. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate my model around so I can get a good view of that face. I'm going to highlight that face by just clicking to select. I'm going to choose the press pull command, which is going to allow me to just drag these faces out. So you can see I've just increased the length of that by 10 millimeters, just by dragging it. No need to create a sketch again. And I can repeat that. So if I go press pull again, select my face, and I'm going to enter a value of 2 millimeters. Okay, so you can see there that I very quickly added to the strength of this model here by just selecting those faces and using the press pull command, and also cleaned up the model a little bit at the back here by just selecting faces and deleting them. Fusion healed all that back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save that. I can add in a version description as well. So I can say web removed and say part strength increased. And click OK to that, and that save then will go back up to Fusion Team. So you can see we're on version 1 here at the moment. If I just expand my folder, you can see it's just saving. You can see our other parts that we've been working on today. But now you can see it's gone up to version 2. So the great thing about Fusion and Fusion Team is versioning, as Ray mentioned as well. And we can see my comment has been added in, so the web removed, the part strength increased, and it's also tagged me, the user, who's made that change. So again, for people who are working in large teams, it's a great asset to be able to see who's made changes to what parts and what models. Also, if we needed to, we could promote a previous version to the top level again. So say some of the changes that we made weren't necessary, we could promote that previous version back to the top again. So I'm going to go back into Fusion Team. Just go back out here for a sec, and we should be able to see that our gear housing should go up to version 2 then. So I can pass back over to Ray now, and he can take a look at the changes that I've made. So I'm going to make Ray presenter again.
Thank you, Dara. I'm back to share my screen again, so I'm just going to go back in here. I'm just going to go back out, just do a quick kind of refresh on my system to make sure it does an automatic refresh anyway. So I'll go into design and collaboration, so I should be able to see a version 2 of this particular part. Again, you can see the time frame that's listed in there as well. I also note that Dara has it still open in the system, but that's not really reflective to me. I know the design has been changed, and the consequence of all this really actions is the fact that we've saved and done these changes up on the cloud using Fusion Team, but in reality what we really have as well is that we have the automatic synchronization, and you can see here I have a BIM 360 drive and a Fusion 360 for those people that are on the call that are very much related to the BIM side of design. It's the same principle applies. So if I go into Fusion 360 here, I really have the folder structure that I have on Fusion Team. You can see I have a lot of folders and files created up already, but you can see I've got this, and you can even see the version from Fusion Team directly in Windows Explorer as well. So that's a very, very good indicator. But that's all well and good until we go back into our Inventor design, and now we've got this particular information in here. So you can see I've got the assembly open, and what I can really do at this point is, again, looking at, and there is a time here that if I don't do this now, what will happen, this will do an auto update over a certain amount of time, but I can also retrospectively go back and check for updates on a particular file. You can see here that Inventor is indicating to us that there is an update available for this file. So again, what you can see, and I really should focus in on this part here, you can just take a quick look at this web, and I'm just going to give you an idea that when I come along here and I select yes, what I'm really doing is I'm accepting those changes from Fusion Team that Dara has subsequently made. So if I click yes to that, you can see we're getting a re-download of all our files. You can see I get an update here on the actual option here. Okay, and what really doing, it's just kind of really doing a download of that particular version for us. Okay, and once complete that download, it should update my particular assembly. I'll just accept that. That was due to a, and you can tell due to a constraint, and you can see that now we've got one web as Dara has explained. If I double click on the part itself, okay, and you can see if I rotate around, you can see that the length has been changed in this particular part here as well. You can see the width's been changed in the part, And again, if I just want to make this, just jump out this on its own. Okay, you can see that all the updates have been changed and made as I would, as per my request. So again, very quickly and easy, you can see the workflow between Inventor, Fusion Team, and Fusion 360. So again, it gives us the flexibility where we can have multiple CAD vendors with different formats of CAD files referencing into an overall Inventor assembly that we can basically version control within the cloud, or again we can create a direct reference link to those vendors where they do the update, and that will reference back into our assembly model. So without further ado, I'm going to now go to the last part, but I think what I'll do is I'll just jump to the PowerPoint very quickly, and I'm just going to jump down to this last point where I wanted to kind of cover. Again, we spoke about basically about how we work with Vault. Now, for those users that are maybe on the call that are using Vault, so again, Vault professionals are Vault, basic Vault professional are basically PDM solutions within the design office. They basically allow us to have a centralized location where all our design data, where we can version or revision control of that data. And that's all well and good within the design office. And you can see here by this particular PowerPoint, what we want to do is you can see that we can look at all this information here. And we've got a few people looking into the Vault. You can see we've got our design engineers, manufacturing engineers, production, for example, etc. So these are all the departments within inside the company firewall that can be able to view this data. The big thing though for us is to get some of that data out to our supply chain. A lot of you will be dealing with contractors that are outside of your organization, but you want to find an easy and effective and a controlled way of sharing that particular data. So with Vault, what that allows us to do, it allows us to be able to push this information out to customers in any particular file format we require, PDF, Word, native design files if so which, or they could have just consumer view access to these particular files and view the version of these particular files. So when I come along here, you can see we can add to this as well. So again, with this, you can see the real solution here is Vault, Fusion Team, and then your customers and supply chain would link that would access the information through Fusion Team. And there's two very good reasons for that. Number one, you don't want customers directly accessing your infrastructure within your organization. And number two, you don't want to give them the native file data either. You just maybe want to have as a viewer only. So again, the benefits of Fusion Team is that we can live sync our information from the Vault environment up into Fusion Team. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump out of my PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to go into the Vault environment. Okay, so I'm just going to close down my assembly. I'm happy enough with that for now. I'm just going to jump across to another project very quickly here. Just make sure I've got all of it set up. And I go into my Vault environment. So again, for those people that may be familiar with Vault, or those people that may be unfamiliar with Vault, you can see here what we have is I have a number of design files that are based within the Vault environment. I have a number of workspace folders here created, so I've got an AutoCAD file, I've got some relevant AutoCAD information that are in there, and I can see that it's currently in an edit mode, it's at revision A, I've got the history of the file, I can even preview the file directly within the Vault environment. So again, very quickly, that's all pretty good for within, as I said, within the organization, within the firewall of the company. I can view, look at files and so forth like that. So that's perfect for, again, as I said, production, engineering management, etc., to consume those files. But the question still bears in mind is that how do we share this out to suppliers and contractors? So within Vault itself, and especially since Vault 2019, what we do have now is we do have this collaboration method whereby we can set up a collaboration between our Vault and between our Fusion Teams or our BIM 360 if necessary. So when I go into these particular configurations, what will happen is you can see here I've got a configuration where it allows me, for example, to edit the particular definition. I can specify which cloud folder I want to go to, and you can see I put this to kind of a PDM design office folder that I've created on Fusion Team. I've also suggested that we upload to the cloud. And what I mean by upload to the cloud, that when I do sync or when I want to share information on a particular action maybe, such as if I release a file or if a file meets a certain property criteria that I want to send to Inventor, I can do this. And there's two methods we can do this. We can schedule it like this. We could have no schedule, and we could have a schedule for every 8 hours. In this case, I'm going to specify none, because what I want to do is I just want to show you, the end user, how I would share an assembly from Vault up to Fusion Team. So again, I'll just apply those settings. And what I'm going to then do is I'm going to come along here. I'm going to close on the dialog box here. I'm going to navigate to a workspace folder. I've got some designs that are basically in here, some assembly information, some information I want to share, and I'm going to grab kind of a sub-assembly to kind of speed this up a small bit for ourselves. Is that okay with everybody? So I'm going to grab something a bit more, something along those lines. Okay, yeah, we'll just grab that. Alright, so that's basically just a motor assembly. You can see directly within the Vault environment, you can see within the uses, I have the information of that part and what makes up that particular part there as well. I have the history of that part as I suggested earlier on. Okay, and what I did, obviously you can see I've uploaded it and I did a pre-check this morning before the presentation to make sure everything was alright. But what I can do is I can do two things. Number one, I can upload to Cloud Drive. So what will that do? It will come along here and it'll ask to specify upload. Now before I actually execute the upload, I just want to show you something inside my Fusion team. I have the PDM design office already there. I have the designs folder structure, which is replicating the folder structure from Vault. But I have no workspace folder created as yet. So please note, in my Vault, this is the workspace folder I'm going to replicate up into the Vault environment to share with the customer. In order to do this, I said I've selected upload to Cloud Drive. There is a component that we use called the job processor, which is based here, which is part of the Vault configuration, and I'm just going to resume that, and you can see very quickly what it's going to do. It's actually going to look at those files and process those files and send those files up to the cloud environment automatically. The good thing about this is that this is taken care of from the server side. So you don't have to manually do this. The reason why I'm doing this is just for demonstration purposes today within the webinar. If I now go back into my Fusion team in here, and I'll just go back into the quick refresh. I go to my PDM design office. I go to designs, and again that should update. Just go back out again. It's probably still doing its thing there. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, you'll see this desktop connector working as well. Okay, good. Let's go back out again just to make sure. Okay, I'll just go back into it. I go to the PDM design office, go to my designs folder. Okay, I go to my workspace 2. You can see I've got an arm there that's working at the minute. So you can see I can preview that. I can preview the arm. I can preview the component. And I'm just going to do a quick refresh on my Fusion team assembly again, just to make sure that that folder has gone up. So again, we'll just go back one. PDMC, just make sure that it does take a small bit of time during the job processor to upload, and unfortunately it hasn't done there yet, but we'll keep an eye on it for a minute and we'll go back to it in a second to see if it's updated. One final thing within Vault itself, if I take the same component here, okay, and if I right click on the component and I want to share that out without pushing up to Fusion Team, as Dara pointed out, it was all about shared views. Yeah, so in this case what we can do is we can right click on a particular file or any file of any state within the Vault environment and select share view. If I select share view, what it does do, it actually creates a view of the file. You can see you can show to hide components and hide part priorities just from a security point of view if you want to share this information to your end user. So if I go to share, this just may take a few moments to create the link. And once I create the share, it should provide me a hyperlink which I can then send either by email or I can view directly in the browser. This is compatible with all browsers, including Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge. As Dara pointed out, this is shared view that's generated that's got an expiry of 30 days. In order to comment up, anyone that wants to comment up on the file would have to create an Autodesk account. Now an Autodesk account in itself is not a big deal to do. You just a matter of creating an Autodesk account, whether you have a subscription to Autodesk licenses or not, you can still access this information using an Autodesk account. So I can actually sign in and set up an account. But the good thing about a shared view is, for example, I can explode the model. I can see the contents of the model. I can see the breakup of the model, for example. I can expand down the model here. I can go into the subcomponentry of that particular model, and then very quickly I can see information and mark up information if so needed. I don't want to go through the markup again, folks. I think we've done that enough times this morning, but the same principle applies in this environment as well as in Fusion Team. Now you'll have to excuse me, I'm just going to run back to my Fusion Team environment and see how come that hasn't updated, so just bear with me for a second. I'm not going to leave this one go, because this was working for us all this morning. So again, no, okay, well let's do another one very, very quickly. So into my Vault environment again, I'm just going to check my collaboration and just go into my settings, and what I'll do is I will just configure my last bit of collaboration. I'm just going to actually edit that, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that to $sign there for a second, just to make sure that I'm not conflicting with anything. Apply that. Okay. Close it, and we'll just try it once more. And what I'll do is I'll come along and I'll do a upload to cloud drive. Alright, and then what I'll do is I will come along to my job processor and I'll reinstate that again for you. So again, you can see we're manually doing an upload to Fusion 360. This desktop connector should kick in. So if I come along here, I'll just do a pending actions to see if anything's coming through here. So it should be coming through quite soon. So it's been sent to the job. So I'll just do a quick refresh on this again. If this doesn't work this time around, what I will do is I'll record it and show you this on our video thereafter. So again, we'll just grab the collection webinar, we grab across here, we go into the PDM design office, run the designs folder. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't seem to want to do it this morning. So I do apologize, but again, just to kind of show you in the previous folder that I did upload. So I have some AutoCAD files in here that you did see from a previous from the vault, and you can see I can click on any of those files at all really, and look at the particular view of those particular files that are generated inside the Fusion team. Okay, so again you can see even in an AutoCAD point of view you can look at the model, and you can even look at the sheet layout as well, which it actually updates. So it gives kind of a full brief of that particular design. So at this point we are well into the hour. So I know we had it scheduled from 10 to 10:45. So we are open to take questions and answers at this particular point, our Q&A session, if you wish. So what we can do is, if you would like to leave your questions in the chat box, or after the webinar, if you would like to contact us directly by email, please do so. Dara is actually going to put in his email address and my email address into the chat dialog box, so you can contact us directly if you'd like to discuss more on what we covered this morning. This is part one of our webinar series. So the next part up will be focusing on simulation, Nastran capabilities, so forth like that, and using both linear and nonlinear analysis. And then our third webinar series very much focused on generative design and the generative design techniques both in Fusion and linking that back into Inventor. So I think if we've got any questions, please do so now. Otherwise, what we can do, and there is, brilliant, and there is, if there's any further queries or questions you may have that you want to kind of take outside, please don't hesitate to contact us. At this particular point, we've hit the hour, so what we might do is we might close the lines if everybody's okay, because we don't see too many questions coming in as of yet. Again, as I said, please feel free to contact us directly, and we can answer those questions if needed be. Okay, Dara, back over to you.
Yeah, no, I just want to
just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Had a great time presenting and
going through workflows, and I think
it'd be great to see if we can help people implement some of these workflows and get them collaborating better with their team and customers. So just thanks again.
Thank you, folks. It's been a pleasure presenting this morning. Likewise for myself as well. I really enjoyed it, and hope to do more of this, and we'll be more on the air go forward over the next couple of months with different technologies being added as well. Okay. Have a good day, folks. Take care.